In honor of today being the American Election Day, I've decided to do a video on the most rigged presidential election the world has ever seen. It's earned a spot in the Guinness World Record for being the most fraudulent election in history. But before I talk about the 1927 Liberian General Election with a 1700% voter turnout rate, it's important to dive into the history of the country. Liberia has a bit of a unique history. It was never colonized by any of the European powers. It was instead founded by a group of 88 former slaves, known as the American Colonization Society. They were Americo-Liberians, seen to be more civilized than the rest of Africa. A massive part of that perception stemmed from the fact that unlike other African societies, Liberia held elections to determine their leaders. As you've probably guessed from the subject matter of this video, these elections were more like faux elections than a proper democratic system of voting. Enter the Liberian True Wig Party, named after the former Whig Party in the United States. The Liberian spin-off seized complete control of the country's entire political apparatus. An aspiring politician who wasn't part of the True Wig Party would be completely shut out of politics. This remained to be the accepted status quo for more than 50 years until Thomas J. Faulkner of the People's Party challenged the True Wig Party's candidate, Charles D.B. King, for the presidency in 1927. Obviously, the True Wig Party wasn't particularly enthused by this. If Faulkner won the election, the People's Party would have completely dismantled the political infrastructure the True Wig Party had spent the last half a century building. D.B. King did what all fearful, power-hungry politicians do. He rigged the election. Liberia only had 15,000 registered voters in 1927, yet the results for the election showed a 9,000 counted votes for Faulkner against a staggering 243,000 for King. That makes for a 1,680% voter turnout rate. If the presidential election was done fairly, Faulkner would have won with a massive 60% blowout. But alas, the election wasn't democratic. The True Wig Party would remain in power until 1980, when their leader was killed in a violent coup. Following that coup, there was a 20-year-long dictatorship until 2003. With the help of the United Nations, Liberia had its first ever truly democratic election in 2005. The country has been doing a lot better, but after being entrenched in a whole century of a one-party rule, there is still a long way to go before all of the corruption is successfully purged from Liberian politics.